Hi everyone, welcome to Colette's Snowy Kitchen. My name is Collette Mitrega. I'm a Thermomix consultant here in Australia with over 1,000 customers in every single corner of Australia, all states and territories.
And the #1 sales consultant in the whole of Australia and New Zealand.
Okay, Andrew, thank you. All right.
That's great.
So today is the start of our new TM7. And I'll be using the TM7 in lives going forward. Now, many of you have the TM6. So many of the dishes that I'm going to be doing in the TM7, you can still cook in your TM6, your TM5, and many even in the TM31. So please join me and get inspired and cook along. But I'm very excited to be cooking in the TM7 today.
I saw a TM31 on the Antiques Roadshow the other day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Was it worth much?
No.
Okay. Excuse me. So I've been cooking quite a lot with this during the week. So for all my new TM7 customers, I've got this TM7 Lounge on Facebook, a special place just for us to learn and really embrace everything that the TM7 has to offer. So I've been really busy filming videos and getting information together because their Thermomixes will be starting to arrive really soon. So, you know, if you are looking to get one of these in your kitchen and you want lots of support afterwards and you don't have a current consultant who's supporting you, please reach out. I'd love to be one of those.
The #1 sales consultant.
Andy, enough, okay? You know I don't like doing that stuff. Enough.
Gold medal.
Andy, stop.
Not silver, not shameful silver.
In so much trouble. Okay, so we are doing a TM7 exclusive dish today. I thought, you know, first day with the TM7 we would do this dish, and it is just wonderful. So can you see the screen clearly up there, Andy?
Well, I can see it. We're not sure whether viewers can see it.
Okay, so basically what we've got on our home screen here is you can actually decide how you want to display this screen in terms of whether you want it to go straight into your modes or whether you want cookie dough inspiration, or I've got a bit of a joint, my most used ones here, and a current things in terms of what we're eating in the next few days. Andrew, did you spot that one? The ribs.
Oh, what day is that one?
That's tomorrow. Yeah. So, but today we're doing this, and I've actually got that set up. And if we go it down below, we can see all of those amazing recipes that Cookie Dough has to offer. And of course, you can go straight into your search bar. I'm into Cookie Dough. I can search over 12,000 recipes to cook in my Thermomix. There's literally everything. It's just incredible. Cookie Dough seriously is the heart of your Thermomix. And then if I go back home, I can actually go into my own recipe collections. So here we go. If I go into this is what I've been recently cooking, my collections, and you can see here, that's the cookbooks, my recipe list. So these are the things that I make all the time. I just love, and of course here, this button here takes us straight into all of our modes. And of course you're going to see a number of brand new modes that are exclusive to the TM7. And we have a dual screen. Basically, when we're using the TM7, the scales are always present, and you've got this bowl, which is always there as well. So that's really handy when you're doing your recipes. So here you'll see the browning, the open cooking, and the steaming. Those are our 3 new modes at the moment. And if I head on to here, you've got so many built-in tutorials that you can look at under the settings, really visual information. It's just fantastic. And here you've got your weekly plan, settings, and your profile in Cookie Dough. So really, it's very easy to maneuver. But look, enough about that. Let's crack on with the recipe.
Sure, you should be leaning on it.
I'm not heavily leaning on it. All right, so let's go. So this is the dish, creamy Cambodian-style fish curry. Now the recipe here is for 4. As you know, you can up it, down it, etc. I'm actually just going to be halving it as I go along because there's only 2 of us in the house. And at the moment, we have got so much food because I've been cooking so much. So all I need to do is to start this recipe. But before I do, I will just show you along the bottom here, you can access. So if I just want to look at the ingredients for the recipe, I can pull those up so you can see exactly what I need to get. If I want to have a look at the preparation steps, I can go in there and get a feel for the preparation. Tips, any tips and information. And what I love about the TM7 is that I can actually add my own notes into each recipe. And I have been doing that for a few things, little tweaks, things that I want to maybe remember the next time that I'm making it. So I love the fact that you can do that on the screen. And of course the screen's really big, so it's easy to type everything in. And then if I just go back to my overview, let's start. So off we go. And the screen here, it is actually a kind of a tempered glass, so it's perfect for the kitchen. And one thing I am loving is how easy the TM7 is to clean. It's very sleek and very stylish. You haven't named it yet, Andrew. Come on, guys, put in the comments what you think I should call this. I'm not calling my Thermomix Darth, okay?
All right, call it Vadar.
You are in...
Call it Vadar then.
All right, so
I see Michael's joined us. I saw his picture come up before then. He always makes me so jealous. I see that. Michael, is that a 6-pack or a 12-pack? I don't know.
All right, so look, just to go through the motions, the first part of this recipe is to kind of cook your rice. And I have to say the Thermomix cooks the best rice in my opinion. Unlike a rice cooker, etc., it's so lovely and moist. And it's just so perfectly cooked, whether you're doing a pilau rice, a jasmine rice, all really, really good. So I have actually done that. I've weighed the rice out and I've removed it. Basically, here it's telling me steps to put some water and salt in the bowl, insert the basket with the rice, and then cook it for 14 minutes. And don't forget to pre-wash your rice. You know, nowadays here in Australia, there's two camps. You don't need to wash your rice. However, when you're using your Thermomix, it's a good thing to do, because if you're not washing it, often you'll get that little white bubbly stuff, you know, kind of coming up.
Like Michael's comment said, it's called Photoshop. Sadly. I mean, after all this time, I've been thinking, how the hell do I get to that position?
Oh dear, Andy, there's no hope for you. All right, so I've got the rice done, and that's all awesome. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start the recipe. And one of the things that you're going to notice straight away that's different, we've got what looks like a little shopping list, little check boxes and little diagrams. Love that I can see all the ingredients that I have to put up, whereas previously with our previous models it was just the ingredient that you could see. You'd have to step out of the screen to have a look further.
So Vicky's saying, morning, Collette, Anna and Andrew. Who's Anna? Morning. Well, where are you from, Vicky? It's certainly late afternoon here.
All right, so carrying on, it's telling me quite clearly here to take the lid off, and I'm doing that. And now it's asking me to pop all these in. So first of all, brown onion.
No, so when you took the lid off, it tied it back to zero.
Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, and I love that about the Thermomix, the TM7, because before, if you'd left the lid on and you took it off, you'd instantly have a weight. But with the TM7, it doesn't tar it back until that lid comes off.
Good.
So really
well spotted, Andrew.
Yeah, that was well spotted, Andrew.
Thank you.
Okay, so
it's my new bionic eyes.
I'm halving this recipe, so in we go, some brown onions, so just popping that into the bowl. And because I've done that, I'm going to check that off. Garlic clove, popping it into the bowl. Excellent, done that.
Is that new for the TM7, the checklist?
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Ginger's going in. It's got little pictures
so
too.
All you Alzheimer's sufferers, this will help you.
Yeah, absolutely. Lemongrass is going in, the white part of the lemongrass. Fresh turmeric. I don't have the fresh turmeric, but again, another one of the things I'm seeing more on Cookie Do is a little switcheroo, a couple of little arrows. So here it's telling me if I don't have fresh turmeric, I can actually substitute it with powdered or ground turmeric, and it gives you the quantity. So in goes the turmeric.
Vicky's on holiday in Lanzarote and is still watching you do this live. Isn't that great?
All right, so carrying on, we're going to have some chilli. So the chilli's going in. And let me just scroll up. Okay, so I've done all that. Click off the chilli, and then I'm going to hit next. So now it's telling me to pop the lid back on. So the lid is going on.
I mean, it really is totally idiot-proof, isn't it? I mean, it's just amazing.
So all I need to do, 4 seconds, speed 8, no turning of dials or changing things. It's literally, okay, let's start. So in terms of noise, which you'll hear in a minute, I'm going to hit next, is that it's so much quieter. So if you're cooking at speed 2 and below, seriously, I mean, you know, I've been going up to it and I say, Andrew, it's so quiet, it's sick of me telling me that. But I go up and, yeah, it is working. But when you go above speed 2, you will hear noise, like it's chopping, etc. But it is still significantly quieter than your previous Thermomix models.
There's a green light on now. What does that mean?
It means that the bowl's not hot. I lost traction there, Andrew. What was I talking about before? I was going to say something. Okay, so, okay, I can't remember. Nope, can't remember. All right, so lid's coming off. Spatula, lovely new spatula. And again, just looking inside, you can see there exactly what we've got. Typical kind of Asian spice blends, turmeric, onion, chili, garlic.
So that bowl's a bit heavier than the last one. How are you coping with that?
Oh, so the bowl is about 600 grams heavier than the TM6. I'm going to get all these confused, I'm sure. And it's fine. I'm not having problems with it, but what I'm finding, I'm actually using 2 hands. I can hold it quite comfortably. I did a huge, big dinner before, and I can use that quite comfortably in there, so that's all good. All right, so next, so again, the lid's going on, and now we are just going to play. So it's going to chop it again, and it's counting down up here for you, so really lovely. And the noise, can you hear it?
So the locking mechanism you can't see either.
No. So when it's chopping and above that speed 2, what happens is the bowl will lock in place, and it does that through magnets, and it also locks onto here. So at the moment I can take that off, but when that's locked in, I can't take it off. It has to be unlocked. So, you know, that's a great little feature.
Those clever Germans.
Nice. So lid comes off, scales have come up, and now it's asking me to add in there some coconut milk. So I'm just going to be pouring in some coconut milk.
What fish are you using for this?
Barramundi. Because it's nice and mild. All right, so...
If anyone lives here on the Gold Coast, can you tell us where there's a really good fish and chip shop? We love fish and chips.
Okay, so we've got the milk that goes into there, and now I'm going to hit next. All right, and now we're going to cook that. And that's now going to cook for 5 minutes. So the lid's gone on, and I just press play.
So the question from Lorraine is that if you don't tick the box, you miss the box out, will it still just carry on?
Yeah, it will just carry on.
So it's really just a checklist for yourself.
Yeah. And if I was doing a full quantity here, as I was pouring that milk in, as we get near to the target weight, what you'll see happen is a green line comes across, and you can see visually how you're doing with that measurement as well. So that's another great little feature.
So is that working?
It is working. I know. So, I mean, normally we'd be hearing a whirring and all the rest of it, but it is nice and quiet. So you can see here, it's going up to counting down here, so you can actually see that. And it's at 55 degrees currently. And you'll see the lights change colour. And can you see when it gets to red, you can see like a little happy smile on the lights. Can you see a smile, Andy? That's yellow at the moment, amber. Yeah. So then it will head off to orange, which it is now. And then as it gets up to temperature, so it's at 70 degrees now. And as it gets up to temperature, so we're aiming for 98 degrees, it will start to turn, as it is now, starting to turn to red, which is telling me this is all hot. So one of the other wonderful things about the bowl, and one of the main reasons why they have looked at this, is the sound. There was feedback about, you know, it has been a bit noisy to cook with the Thermomix. And I know Andrew, when he's watching footy over there on the lounge,
I have to go to another room.
Sometimes, you know, that worry, especially like beef cheeks or stuff like that, you've got that constant little worry going on. So Thermomix have totally redesigned this. It's got a brand new motor. Everything is being obviously supercharged. So it's got a maintenance free synchronous motor, which basically means it's so much quieter, and that's quite revolutionary. And when I was in Berlin earlier this year, I actually got to go into the room where they tested the sound, and I could have stayed there for quite some time. It was like so silent, so silent. It had all this very expensive padding and sensors and all sorts of things. It was quite a big room, and there was a table in the middle, obviously, where the Thermomix would sit when they were testing it. But it was just so silent. It was absolutely really special. So I am enjoying the fact that it's not as loud. So in terms of the bowl, the other thing that I am really loving is not having to put the simmering basket on top of the lid. I must say it was a bit of a pain, although I never said that, obviously, because there was no alternative. We just did it. I know, but now I can. So with the TM7, there's only two choices. So there's, just two simple choices. The lid cap, which is this guy here, that stays on all the time unless you're using the Varoma.
So is the blade turning now?
Yep.
You sure?
Yep.
I can't hear a thing.
I know. It's amazing. I'm beginning to smell that as well since I took that lid off. Those lovely Asian, Cambodian or Asian flavours. So I'm really loving that. Ease of cleaning, I have to say, I was a little bit worried about, the lid's got a few little nooks in it, but everything else is pretty straightforward. It is very easy to clean, and I'm quite pleased about that. It doesn't take me no time to actually clean, and because I've only got the one bowl, a second bowl is not going to be available until later in the year, and yet they have said that there is a bigger bowl that will be coming eventually, and there's all sorts of whispers coming out of Germany about what they're developing. So we all know we've got more power on the base, we've got more space on the base, so this little baby, the base, can take all sorts of things. I'm not saying
whispers from Germany.
So very excited about the future, and this is where the TM7 comes into its own, because it's going to take us into the future, and that's very, very exciting. What else? So you've got the sleeve, and it does keep your food warmer a lot longer, which is really good, and you've got the lever on the side. Love this. In fact, there have been a few occasions when I've gone to put the bowl back and I'm thinking, where's the base? Where's the base? Of course, there isn't a base anymore. So it's literally a case of just popping the inner bowl into the sleeve, dropping in the blade, and then you just switch that little lever across. It's very easy to do. You don't have to have extra strength or anything like that. So I am loving that. Okay.
Oh, what a cynical bunch we got here.
What?
When's the TM8 coming out?
Well, I guarantee they'll be working on a TM8. I am absolutely sure of that. But, that's...
It's about 5-6 years gap, isn't it, between the
that's what
TM5
it has been
and
in
6?
the past. But, the thing is, though, they were constrained by what the TM6 could do. And the TM6 is still incredible. Let's face it, it is an amazing machine, and I love my TM6. And even today, I used my TM6 to cook rice while I was doing something else in this guy. So
this Cambodian fish recipe is just on TM7.
This is the TM7 exclusive recipe on Cookie Do. Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not available for TM6 users.
No, but you can easily do that. And so all of this bit here, you could actually do that recipe.
So Margaret asked, says that she's looked and she can't find the Cambodian.
Yeah. So the reason why you can't find it is you need to go into your profile. So part of my TM Lounge training was to remind people to go in and adjust their profiles. All of my customers that are waiting for their TM7s. So they've gone in and they've changed their profile to tell Cookie Do they've got a TM7. So when you do that, you'll be able to find these recipes.
But you shouldn't do that if you've got a TM6.
That's right, because what will happen, as you'll see in a bit, it's going to tell you to do things you can't do with the TM6. But you can actually work around. There is a little bit kind of a workaround. All right, so it's telling me to take the lid off.
And thank you for the referral to this Pimpernel fish tank restaurant. And Also, thanks for recommending Rick Stein's in Padstow. That's not particularly convenient, but it's good to know.
All right, so here we go. Checklist has come back up again. So in we go with the sugar. So I've got brown sugar going in there and ticking that off. And fish sauce going in there.
My favourite.
A bit of fish sauce, more than what I'd normally use, but okay. So fish sauce has gone in there and lime leaves. So it says 3. I'm actually using 2. Always confusion on these. That is 1 lime leaf, okay? That's not 2, that's 1.
I can see 1 lime leaf there. Why?
Because
it. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this is no good just popping that in like that. You need to extract the flavour. And what I do is I just put some tears in down to the vein, and that. Oh.
Why don't you just scrunch it up in your hand?
Because you're not going to get that same amount of release.
Okay.
Smell.
Wow, that's pungent, isn't it?
Lovely.
Smells like washing up liquid, lemon washing up liquid.
Thanks, Andrew. All right, so I'm clicking that off and then hitting next. All right, so the next thing now, this is now going to cook for 10 whole minutes. And I'm going to hit play and off we go for 10 minutes to extract all of that flavour. We're nearly at the end of this recipe, so it's not too time consuming. So we have now, Andrew, 10 minutes. What else can I say? Okay, let's talk more about the TM7. So there's just, you've got access to all of those information. I love the fact that you've got things built in, like the instruction manuals and stuff like that. So it's all on the screen, and that's really, really cool. So having said that, of course I have read the instruction manual.
I just can't get over how quiet it is. It's like, are you sure it's going? I can see the counter going down.
Yeah, you can see it's red, and we're cooking now. Yeah. We're cooking now at speed 1, so you would expect it at 100 degrees. Now, so that's really, really cool. Now, one of the things that I can do is I can just take the lid off at any stage, have a little peek. Yeah, that's good. But a bit too early, really. Pop it on. So what happened when you're cooking at 100 degrees or below in any recipe, or if you're doing manual cooking, at any stage you can just whip that lid off, have a taste, check the seasoning, add something else in, etc. Yes, you can do that with previous models, easy to do. You would press your selector button and wait for about 3 seconds for the lid to undo, and then it would come off, and then you just need to check your timers and press go again. So you can do that, but it's just, again, being simplified with the TM7. So what happens when that lid comes off, the blade automatically stops, and then you can do whatever you need to do, and then when you put the lid back on, it automatically continues where it left off. Isn't that good? Really cool.
Have you done any open cooking in this yet?
Yeah, I did. I did a few little strips of bacon when you were still in bed one day. But look, I'm going to be.
How come you didn't? Was that at night time or morning?
It was very early in the morning.
Oh, okay, that's why I didn't see it.
I just wanted to test it, so I just put some strips of bacon in there, and just to see how it came out. It was great. But realistically, let's be real here. If I'm cooking up, if I just want to have a few mushrooms and a bit of bacon on toast or something like that, I would just get the frying pan out. Seriously, I wouldn't go in to do all that. But where this comes into its own, if it's part of a bigger recipe, the first step, you want to sear off your steak. You now have control. You can burn that if you want to. You've got control as to how long, how high. Whereas with the previous, only the TM6 actually, you could do that, but you were confined into the safety requirements of the TM6, that model. And of course, don't forget, if you've got a TM6 and you do want to sear chicken, there are recipes on Cookie Doo that will guide you through that. But caramelized onions are something that I love. What Andrew and I are just loving at the moment.
Oh, steak sandwiches.
It's so good. So I make a beautiful mustard mayonnaise in my Thermomix.
Beautiful.
And I like caramelizing onions, which also go into that sandwich. But what I love now, and I have been doing with the TM7, is I'm really caramelizing them so much more than what I was able to do before, and I love that.
I swear, if we went into a quality restaurant and given steak and caramelised onion sandwiches with all the rest that you put in, I'd give them 10 out of 10. They are the best.
You know how fussy this guy is. Any other questions on the 7, Andy, that you can see?
When's the TM8 coming out? I said that one, but God, they are cynical, aren't they?
So the TM7, so I've got well over 100 customers that will be getting their TM7s in the next few weeks. So we're very excited in my lounge, where there's all sorts of information that they've been building up to. They've all tidied up their cookie dough lists and all this kind of stuff. And any new person coming on board or anyone that's ordering a TM7 will be able to come into that environment. Now, they will be getting theirs, as I said, fairly soon. Now, if anyone ordered in the last week, you will get delivery a little bit later in July. And we've just been informed today that anyone ordering a TM7 from now will have delivery in August. So you can see what's happening. It's being pushed out and pushed out. So seriously, guys, if you've got your eyes on one of these, please just jump in and go ahead and grab one, because let's look at Germany. Germany had, I think it was about a 23-week gap where they couldn't get the machines. So you don't want to be waiting that long.
So I might miss this. You're saying if you put the order in now, you can still get it in June?
No, you won't get it now until August.
Oh, okay.
But that's just going to be pushed out because worldwide demand for these, as we know, is high. Look, I can touch this when it's still red. So you want to do that. And the good thing is that we now have payment plans. So you can get this baby on things like 24 months interest free. Just waiting for the fine details of that to come out. But if you're interested, text me, or if you've got a consultant who supports you, please text that consultant and ask them for that information. So it's all very, very exciting.
So Lisa's just rubbing it in, saying that she's enjoying her TM7 in Cyprus.
Oh, yeah.
How come Cyprus came before Australia?
I'm not sure actually, but the UK came before Australia. America and Canada haven't got theirs yet. There's lots of countries that are not getting these until the back part of the world, so we have them. And let me say, Australia is really, really doing so well. And I think, it's because you've got in here in Australia, there's so many consultants that really want to look after their customers and get the best out of, for them to get the best out of everything, which is why I set up my lounge. Now, if you're doing this recipe with your you can look at the recipe if you've got a TM6, and you just need to kind of look at where the features are that go into the TM7 and then just change them. But remember, with things like high heat, it's going to be difficult for you to kind of do that manually. You're going to have to, so it's probably not quite worth it. This week I'm going to be focusing on TM7 recipes, but come next week I'm going to be doing recipes that you can cook in your 6 and your 7. Or your 5, etc. 5s I think are now getting really a bit old. There's so much they don't offer anymore. So please don't worry if you've got your 6, that's still good. All right. Any other questions that you've got on the 7 that you guys want to ask me?
Come on. I was reading one of those Facebook posts about a woman who bought a Temu copy Thermomix. Well, she thought it was. It looks typical Chinese. They've just ripped the design off. But all it does, it's like a chopper. It minces and chops, so it does. So she paid $295 thinking she was going to get a cheap Thermomix, and she's just got a food processor.
Yeah, so you've got to watch out for those things.
I mean, come on, for $295, what did you think she was going to get?
Are you noticing how quiet this is, guys? Listen, Andrew, no talking. I just love it. It's wonderful. So I can be spending hours in the kitchen. Andy can be watching his footy and not have to nag at me.
No, Laura, I didn't see your question about the moisture. I can't go back in this way the system works for me, so you want to just ask that question again? So is the Woolies online shopping on the TM7?
Yes, it is. You know me, and if you're my customer, you know I'm really big on meal planning. If you embrace meal planning, and I have a model that I give to my customers, you will save so much time, so much money. You'll get rid of all that brain fog, what is for dinner tonight. it is just such an amazing thing to embrace.
I mean, our oldest son, it was amazing me how he used it. I mean, Collette doesn't particularly use this Woolies shopping because we're home, we're retired. Well, I'm retired, but Patrick does. So he puts in all his meals for 5-6 days that him and Kat want. Presses the button, and he collects the shopping with all the ingredients for those 6 or 7 meals. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, they're pretty, and they eat so well. So well, I do some online shopping, Andrew.
So the Cora, do you? Okay, so what do I know? This is secret women's business in the kitchen here. But Laura asked a question. It says, how does the screen react to moisture or water that might land on it? Any effects like on the TM6? Was there a problem with the TM6?
Yeah.
Ah, this is why you kept quiet.
So if my fingers are really wet now, what I'm going to do, so fat or water, I'm just using water here. If I want to see, I can actually move this so you can see the wetness on the screen. That's one of the things. So I want to go back to the current step. So see how wet the screen is?
So was that a problem with the TM6?
It was, if you got excess. A little bit wasn't so much of a problem, but definitely I've had fat and butter and all sorts on my fingers, as you do when you make scones and you're running it through cakes and things. And yeah, it's just beautiful. So you don't have to worry about all that. So really cool. All right.
Was that 10 minutes?
Yeah.
The trouble is you don't hear that thing, so it's just...
All right. So lid coming off. Ooh.
Oh, it's got a whiff of the aroma. Oh, looking
So let me
forward.
just show you what we've got so far. It's always difficult. There you go.
Yep, all good.
So I'm just going to pop that back on. And I'm just going to
Oh, of course, the fish hasn't gone in yet, has it?
No. Double spooning, I know, but it's only under an eye. So that's tasting very nice so far.
Thank you.
So I've just got a couple of barramundi fillets in here. I'm going to pop into this dish.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So a little bit of the barramundi going in.
That's like a slap in the face by a wet dog.
Rather nice, isn't it? All right, so the fish has gone in. Check it off. Fantastic. Let's go next. Okay, gently stir with a spatula. So just making sure the fish is nicely kind of covered in that beautiful, beautiful sauce. And that sauce is like silky smooth. It's lovely.
I mean, I was just wondering, I mean, if you've got like a son or daughter who's 7 or 8 or 9 years old, they could do this. And wouldn't they feel so proud that they're going to cook up dinner for the family, being at that age, just being able to just follow the instructions? The kids now, I mean, like, this is a tablet, it's second nature to them to work through a screen like this. It's fantastic.
It is. And so one of the things that I used to do with my boys because when I got my first TM5, I was working in a corporate world like many of you, and I'd get home at night and I would just be exhausted. You know, it was quite a demanding job that I had, but we're all tired when we get home, and the last thing we want to do is spend time in the kitchen. And I went to my very first Thermomix demo, and I immediately saw how that Thermomix was going to really change my life, and I thought, I just have to have it. And so I got myself a Thermomix. And
But what did hubby say when you came home and said, you got to buy this?
Well, I did just recently buy the big expensive, I think it was about $800 pasta extension to my KitchenAid. But then I went home and said, look, I just seen this. And I was asking Andrew, not for his permission, but for his blessing. Just as one does.
Some holy water on the head.
And he said no.
No, I don't think I said that. I said what I said was, not another bloody kitchen. I mean, you did have loads of them. You had a kitchen cupboard full of the appliances.
I know. And I used them so much. Well, actually I didn't, because I was very time poor. But anyhow, I got one of these in the kitchen, but I said to my 2 boys, I said to both of them, I said, look, I need each of you to cook dinner once a week. And it was like, oh, Nasha, I need you to do that. I'm doing it the other 5 nights a week, so I need you to do that. And I said, you can cook whatever you want. I'm happy for you to do whatever you want. And that started. And there were some weeks when they didn't want to do it, but that was the household rule. They had to. And one of the things I used to do was sit the other side of the kitchen bench when they were cooking, and we would just chat. And I have to say, it is a great way for you to spend one-on-one time for half an hour once a week. So powerful. And they couldn't do anything wrong. They just followed the steps, followed the instructions. They learned about food, learned about cooking. My only big mistake was, because I thought they could cook whatever they wanted, is that we ended up having Mexican food like twice a week for about 2 years. But they left home, I bought them Thermomixes, and you know, I've never regretted that. So for me, this has been a real life changer. And of course, when I retired, I was wondering what the hell I could do because I was so bored, and I turned to Thermomix, and I have not looked back since. It's the best thing I've ever done. Work-wise, it's the most fun I've ever had. So if you are thinking about even considering a new career or just a little side gig, think of Thermomix. It's a beautiful family, and you can actually come on board with no deposit. You don't have to buy a business kit, but you can actually sign up and earn a TM7. When you get 6 sales, that TM7 is yours to keep. So let me know if you want more information on that. But for me, it was the bees and knees, amazing.
So Linda asked, did you cook, Andrew? You're joking. With the competition I have in this house, I don't go anywhere near the kitchen. I go into the kitchen once or twice a day just to get a cookie or something, or a donut if she buys them. But no, I mean, you can imagine if I cooked, the criticism I would get.
I have to say, Andrew does make amazing cheese on toast.
That's my one speciality. Welsh rarebit. Not rabbit, rarebit.
I've done a live with the Thermomix. It's a Branston pickle Welsh rarebit. That's very delicious.
So Gail says, for safety reasons, prefer the kids not to use the Thermomix because if they lift the lid, everything's hot inside.
Yeah, it is. It is hot inside. But I mean, if they're little kids, my boys were.
You supervise them, wouldn't you?
Yeah, my boys were 12 and 16, and once they understood, it was not a problem. But I think anything under that 12-year-old, you want to be there with them, obviously. So yeah, they need supervising. So you would be teaching them, okay, that's not hot. The red light, the little red happy smile, means that what's inside is hot. So we need extra care.
I still can't see the red. Oh, I can see it now.
Yeah,
Okay, red smile. Okay.
Yeah. So it's such an amazing thing, and you know, I always say to people, I think every house needs a Thermomix. It's not that luxury item now. It just really brings you quality of life. It makes time in the kitchen fun. You know the routine. It's just amazing.
So Debbie asked, have you made anything that really rocks the TM7?
When I did some bread the other day, it did move a little bit, but no more than what the TM6 would do. It's got a built-in slider board, so you can maneuver this around the kitchen, but when it's in position, it does kind of sit nicely. But with the bread dough, I probably wouldn't leave the Thermomix. In fact, I don't think I'd leave any Thermomix if I was making bread dough.
I'm not sure what Debbie means actually moves the Thermomix, or that's an expression for rock. You know, does it rock? I don't know. Rocks the TM7?
Yeah,
maybe,
I think that's what
maybe she's right.
Yeah.
Moving it around.
So it did move a little bit, but you know, no more than any of the others did.
How did it move?
Just a little bit. Okay, nearly gone here. 23 minutes. So of course you can go into cookie do from here. You can go in and start exploring other things while this cooking through and things like that. Now tomorrow night at 6 o'clock on Zoom, I've got a demonstration of this where I'll show you something I'm cooking, and I'll answer all those questions for anyone that's curious to find out more. There's a little habit now.
Can you change the tune?
I don't know, actually. I just love that tune. I think that's a beautiful tune. All right, so we've got 2 more minutes to go, but I'll go back into those open demos. So the lid's coming off again. And
has the fish gone in yet?
The fish is in.
Oh, okay, I must have missed
And
that.
it's looking lovely. Okay, so that's looking good. It'll have a bit of a fishy flavour now going in. And so now we're going to add in there some freshness, some veggies, some nice capsicums, and some lovely snow peas. Okay, so I can just tick, tick, next. And it wants me to just gently immerse those vegetables in that sauce. So I'll show you kind of what we've got so you can see. Okay, yum. Okay, It's actually a little bit awkward coming from behind, but that looks good to me.
Have you made any rice? You've made rice?
I have, yep, that was like the first part of the recipe. So I'm just going to go next, that's fine. And then it's telling me here to cook without the lid for 2 minutes. See, that's wet, it doesn't matter. 2 minutes at 100 degrees, so it's now cooking. And if we were able to, I'd get the camera over here in a minute, because what you'll see is you will see it start bubbling. The sauce is bubbling and everything, and that's really cool. You'll see that on the videos that I've actually taken where I can get more up close and personal. But so tomorrow night at 6 o'clock on Zoom, if you look on my Facebook page, you'll see details of that. I've got an open demo. If you want to find out more, ask questions, etc. on the TM7, you know, look at those payment plans, how you might be able to get one in your kitchen, etc.
So when's your next live?
I'm not sure yet. I've got to check my diary, Andy. And then also this Friday, if you are nearby in Brisbane or near to Brisbane, near the airport, I'm actually doing an in-person demo. So you can come along to the Brisbane Airport, the Thermomix office.
And you're doing that?
On Friday.
I have to ask these
10:30.
questions because this is how I find out what's happening in this household.
So Friday at 10:30, come and join me, meet me. It'd be lovely to say hi and just see me cooking in the TM7.
People need to book in.
Touch it, feel it, yeah. So just message me if you want to book into that. It is designed for people that haven't pre-ordered a Thermomix already, and if you haven't got a consultant that's supporting you. So you, by all means, you know, I'd love to catch up with you, and you can really get hands-on with the Thermomix then and see what it's all about. So let me get ready to serve up.
Can the TM6 people come?
Yeah.
Anyone can come.
Anyone that's really looking, thinking, curious in terms of the TM7. Yep. Okay.
Is that blade turning?
Yeah. And it's actually bubbling. So we've got crispy vegetables for 2 minutes. And of course, if you wanted to increase the time, you would just press the number. So if I want this to go for 1 minute more, I could actually scroll up or down, or I could just put +1 minute, and then I press start again. So now it's going for 3 more minutes. So it's very easy for you to increase, decrease, use manually, all that kind of stuff. But we're going to finish that recipe, and we're going to serve this up. So let me grab some rice. So I cooked this jasmine rice earlier. You know, you can just see the Thermomix does cook its rice so beautiful, so fluffy and just lovely. So the jasmine rice is going to go down on the plate. Okay. And then, I love these spoons, guys. Have you seen these in the mix shop? Absolutely. So this is my spatula now. Very bad habit I got into of putting metal appliances into the Thermomix bowl. You do not want to be doing that. So now I'm just going to take this down and serve this up. So let's get a lovely piece of that fish. And I can see that is cooked just perfectly. So the fish is going on. And then I'm just going to grab some of the sauce and put that over the top. Okay, a few more little veggies, lovely. And then just to finish that off, just a nice little, of course, wedge of lime, and just for freshness, and a bit of coriander just on top. So that is the amazing Cambodian fish curry. So Andrew, would you like a little taste?
You taste first. Oh, you go first.
So just dig in. Yeah, that fish is cooked. That fish is cooked to perfection. It's so flaky.
That's why I make sure you try it first. Me.
Yeah, it's good. I think it needs the lime on top, just to add that little bit of sourness on there.
Just
the
superb.
fish is lovely.
Absolutely superb.
So my first cook, everyone, with the TM7. Yeah, I'm loving the TM7. I love the freedom that it's giving me, and I will be back again this week cooking some more in my TM7, and I've got a couple of demos if you really do want to find out more about it. And then next week, you know, don't forget I will be cooking dishes that you can quite happily cook in your TM6 as well as the TM7 if you're lucky enough to get one of those. So thank you for joining me today. My name's Collette Mitrega, and you go and have fun in the kitchen with your Thermomix. Reach out to me if I can help at all, and enjoy whatever you've got for dinner tonight. Speak to you real soon. Bye for now. Say goodbye, Andrew.
Goodbye, Andrew.
Okay.
Have some more, please.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. It does need a good bit of freshness on top. The fish is just cooked to perfection. Can you see?
Yeah, the thing about barramundi is that
can you see that fish? How beautifully cooked it is?
Yes, Carl, you can see it from there and from there. The thing about barramundi, you can easily overcook it and it becomes mush.
Yes.
And this is just perfect.
It is very, very yummy.
Oh, that lime is what it needed.
Yes, exactly.
Is that lime or the other lime?
It was lime. It was just the lime.
That sauce is,
So nice.
it's got all those, you know, the sweet, sour, salty. What's the other one?
Oh, you've got...
Sweet, sour, salty. Sweet, sour, salty. Anyway.
Okay,
Okay, bye-bye.